With this clown, you just can't make this up.
On Saturday, for the first time in American history, a vicious, heartless president is cutting off food stamps to hungry children, elderly who can't afford enough food to feed themselves, veterans who are down on their luck, all because he wants to use them as hostages so that Democrats will stop fighting for people's health care. We can do both. Provide better health care and provide SNAP benefits to the tens of millions who need it. This president is a fucking liar. He says there's no money to provide food stamps because of the shutdown. That's bullshit. His own agriculture department said there's plenty of money. Every president during shutdowns has provided the money that's needed. Even Trump in his first.
Is he cursing? Is he cursing to make it look like he cares and that he's tough? This bastard. This lying dog. They ought to walk him out in handcuffs. And it should have been term limits long time ago. I don't know how he's gotten this far. And it's been in there so long. This man is literally dropping the F-bomb. Like he cares. Like he's for the American people. I tell you, man. The hell with you Democrats. The hell with you politicians. This man is a disgrace. And we exposing him in broad daylight.
Term. He is bludgeoning the American people, using the most innocent of victims to try and go along with his cruel shutdown, which takes away health care from millions of Americans. He is the most vindictive politician America has ever seen, and the most heartless man America has ever seen in the presidency. We're fighting him every step of the way.
Yeah, we know. We know you're fighting him. Good job reading the script, sir. You are a disgrace.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey.
Why this beat so crazy?
We will make America proud again. When you try to kill we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
We're not asking our Democratic colleagues to sell a kidney. All we're saying is we don't want anything. We just want to open up government so we can negotiate a budget. And Senator Schumer has said, well, I'll only open it up if you give us $1.5 trillion and gut the one big beautiful bill like a fish. Well, you know, Stuart, I'm not Bambi's baby brother. I'm not going to vote for that. I don't know any Republicans going to vote for that.
Okay.
So the Democrats have a decision to make. We're going to just stay shut down. I hate to see it. People are being hurt. But look, I voted yes to open it up 13 times. All of us have. I can't make Senator Schumer and my Democratic friends, I can't make them do it. They're looking foolish. I mean, I'm sure Jesus loves them, but to the American people, they're looking like idiots, in my opinion.
Senator, since the shutdown began now 21 days ago, there have been 11 votes on the GOP measure to reopen the government, and you have voted no all 11 times.
Mr. Gallego, no.
Mr. Gallego, no.
Gallego, no. Mr. Gallego, no. Mr. Gallego, no.
Mr. Gallego, no.
Gallego, no.
Mr. Gallego, no.
Gallego, no.
Gallego, no. Gallego, no.
How are you explaining that to federal workers, including those in your state who aren't getting paid?
Well, to be honest, I'm telling you, this does suck.
But how long are you prepared to stick out this fight? Past November 1st? Past Thanksgiving?
I rule any tight tempo out right now.
Democrats have argued that the norms of our government should be that you negotiate policy outside of a government shutdown.
You're talking about norms in the time of Donald Trump? It's all out the window, Casey.
Are you saying that's okay? Are you saying that's okay if they do that?
I mean, the Republicans have done this quite a while, yes.
Yeah, Republicans have done this a lot. What did you say about it when they did it?
I don't know, and I don't care.
Democratic Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona joins me now.
Mr. Kelly, no. Mr. Kelly, no.
You're a moderate Democrat. Are you going to vote with Republicans to reopen the government?
Absolutely. Nobody wants to see the government shut down. Well, let me tell you a story, quick story.
Mr. Kelly, no.
Kelly, no. Chuck Schumer said this week, quote, every day gets better for Democrats the longer this shutdown goes on.
This is about real people. I was on the phone with a woman from Phoenix.
But how is every day
week.
getting better, as Chuck Schumer said?
I don't think this is better for anybody.
Kelly, no. Kelly, no.
You've got federal workers going to food banks. How long can you let this go? When you see these things happening, when you see SNAP payments going away for nearly 1 million Arizonans?
We don't want to shut down. But let me tell you about an Arizonan. Let me tell you a story about a guy named Brent.
Kelly, no. Kelly, no.
Senator, you close the government down because you want $1.5 trillion for all these different things that Schumer wants. That it's obvious to everyone, although, maybe you can convince the public that it's the Republicans, but it's not.
Today is the 15th chance. Today.
Now, they'll have another opportunity today. The Democrats in the Senate will have their 15th opportunity to do the right thing. We're concerned that they won't. And if they reject this for the 15th time, they will be ensuring that this shutdown continues past the November 1st deadline. And that is a fateful deadline for a number of reasons. Starting on Saturday, let me give you a list of things that this means for the American people. It means that tens of millions of American families will struggle to keep food on the table because the SNAP program benefits will run dry. It means that WIC assistance, that's women, infants, and children, the nutrition programs, will be at risk of running dry. It means that Head Start centers, which serve 60,000 children nationwide, will be at risk of closure. Millions of federal workers, and we've listed them here every day. You're talking about air traffic controllers and TSA agents and park rangers and Border Patrol agents, law enforcement around the country. The stewards of our nuclear arsenal will miss their paychecks. Thousands of flights, by result, will be canceled or delayed, while our borders and national security will be directly jeopardized at a very dangerous moment in world history. And our country will lose tens of billions in gross domestic product. With each passing day, the pain gets more real. And the Democrats are guaranteeing when they vote to reject our clean funding resolution. We expect they will do that again today for the 15th time. They are showing no shame whatsoever.
Oh boy, stepdaddy. Stepdaddy's at it. All right, stepdaddy.
Good evening, Vice President Vance. I just want to say it's an honor to actually be able to talk to you.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. One of my biggest questions is, I feel like one of the biggest problems that America is facing today is that ever-growing social political divide, and we're seeing this on the Republican and Democratic side, but we've seen that a refusal to cooperate with the other side has led to some major issues, including right now the government shutdown, and I wonder, as the party in power, what are your plans to address that issue towards reaching that olive branch out to the other side to actually come to an agreement on how to go forward with our government?
Look, it's a very good question, and let me just say on the government shutdown in particular, the reality here is that there's a very simple bill that just reopens the government. It does it through pretty much the end of the year. That got every single Republican in the House of Representatives to support it. And then it got 52 Republicans in the Senate and 3 Democrats in the Senate to support it. But because of weird Senate procedural rules, it requires a 60-vote threshold. So on that issue in particular, when you have every single Republican with like 2 exceptions in both houses of Congress, I feel pretty confident. I know that I'm partisan. I know I have an R next to my name. But I feel pretty damn good saying the shutdown is the Democrats' fault because we voted again and again to open it. Now, but there's a broader question there, and I think most Americans, whatever their political persuasion, would actually like the country's political parties to work together better to solve the problems. And look, and I agree with that. And my approach when I was in the United States Senate was to try to find some issues where we could agree with the other side on and try to work with them on it. And let me give you one example. I really worry about concentration in the corporate sector. I worry about big corporate monopolies. I worry that when you have only one or two companies dominating an entire sector, it's bad for liberty and it's bad for prosperity. So you may be shocked to hear this, but I actually worked with Elizabeth Warren on some anti-monopoly stuff when I was in the United States Senate. But here's the problem. The problem is there is actually a lot of things where we could work across the aisle. There are a lot of President Trump is in my view, you haven't seen organized labor ever get behind a Republican at least in 100 years like they have behind Donald J. Trump. There are a lot of areas of common ground on that question. The problem is, as reasonable as some of these people can be in private, in public, the current obsession of the Democratic Party in leadership, I'm not saying every Democrat in the country, but the current obsession of every Democrat in Congress is get President Trump, fight President Trump, attack President Trump. It is impossible for us to work across the aisle unless a person is willing to put down their partisan sword, shut the hell up about fake scandals related to Donald Trump, and actually work with us. That's the way you make this happen.
What a turnout for the Turning Point USA event. Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk, man. That was a great turnout. Pretty amazing. And we got a video coming later on the Turning Point event with JD Vance. It was pretty amazing, you guys, you know. But rest in peace to Charlie, man.
Don't believe the hype about ending the shutdown for people on food stamps. First of all, what happened in the military? What happened to air traffic controllers? You know what happened, right? They're playing a game. Senator Schumer is now moving the goalposts, right? What's more sympathetic? Air traffic controllers are pretty sympathetic. Well, what's more sympathetic than they? Members of the military who protect our freedoms on food kitchen lines. Okay, what's more sympathetic than them? Poor kids who can't eat. Oh, okay, let's move the goalposts to that. We want a standalone bill only for food stamps. And the other ones can just go fuck themselves. You see, this is the game. Schumer's not wrong. They should be funding those things. But he's the one who shut down the government. Yes, Republicans are in control of all three houses. But we are in a shutdown right now because of what Democrats did in the Senate by using the filibuster where they got to get 60 votes to keep the continuing resolution from being passed. Look, the only fix, the real one, is to reopen the government. Now, here's the problem. Nobody ever ends a shutdown by getting what they want. It's never happened. Why? Because both sides know if you give them what they want, you're just going to keep having shutdowns. So what's the fix? What's the midterm winning move? Vote for me. I will fight for a bill and make a law that says no more shutdowns. And you create a period during which, yes, there's a constitutional demand that they pay Congress no matter what. They're not part of discretionary spending. But they can have their own house rules. And they should pay for every delay past a certain point where they don't pass a budget. If they have to use a CR instead of passing a budget, that's another fine. They are playing a game. If they wanted to pay and get people paid and take care of people, they wouldn't have shut down the government.
Chuck Schumer blinks and tosses out a deal. All of a sudden, Schumer has an offer for the GOP to work towards ending this shutdown. And his little deal here is to re-enable SNAP benefits while keeping the government shut down, while keeping the people hostage. Holy, I mean, if we didn't already have evidence that this whole thing is bad faith and Chuck Schumer is a terrible person, well then here it is. This is the most transparent damage control play that you will ever see. The Democrats have essentially spent the last couple of weeks bragging that pain is their leverage, but now that the pain that they're causing is backfiring on them, all of a sudden they want Republicans to bail them out from this position that they've taken. What happened? I thought pain was your leverage, but now you want to ease the pain. And again, without reopening government. I am just so utterly confused, I don't even understand the angle anymore. It just feels like desperate flailing. They're doing whatever, you know, I'm sure behind the scenes they think they're brilliant. Oh, here's what we're gonna do in response to all the negative press. Oh, this will definitely put pressure on the GOP. I don't know, these people need to go back to negotiation school. They need to read The Art of the Deal, because this is possibly the dumbest move Chuck Schumer has made yet. let me show you guys the latest offer from Chuck Schumer. And of course, let's continue decimating all these Democrat talking points and stances. We've got some stuff to get into. Extending an offer to the GOP.
Where are the Republicans? As people are losing their health care and have huge pain and pits in their stomach about what to do about it, where kids are not getting fed, Trump's out of the country, House Republicans are out on vacation, Senate Republicans are out to lunch. And every day the shutdown drags on, the pain is deeper. So, it's time for Republicans
Read off the script. Read it off.
to get serious about ending the shutdown. So today, Democrats will introduce a bill that would extend the SNAP funding and WIC to make sure no child goes hungry, no family goes without food, no lapse will happen. And it will get broad, if not universal, support in our caucus, and we will try to get it passed on the floor. We will try to get it passed on the floor. Bottom line, it's time for Republicans to start getting serious about ending this shutdown before families lose their health care, their food, and their faith that the president, that leaders will deliver for them.
You see how he's framing it, right? Suddenly he's Mr. Compassion, pleading about helping the families. Ooh, what happened to pain is your leverage. Now all of a sudden, you want to be Santa Claus, right? Oh, let's give all the people their SNAP benefits while maintaining the shutdown. Why would anybody agree to that? So you can pretend you're freaking Oprah Winfrey? Go to all your little leftist minions who don't want to work? And of course, some people who actually deserve these government benefits and entitlements. So you can go to those people and say, oh, look at me, I'm Santa Claus. Look what I'm doing for you. You take something away and now want to give it back. Give back the crumbs. This absolute clown, and he also has the gall to say that it's time for Republicans to get serious about reopening the government. What a monumental loser. Time for Republicans to get serious about reopening the government? You're the one keeping it closed. Republicans have been voting daily to reopen the government. You even got 3 Democrats who are doing the same thing, who are voting against you. And now, of course, as everything has gone sour, you guys want a little line of relief here, so you can claim it's a humanitarian win. Another publicity stunt. The No Kings rally didn't work, and so now it's this. The whole reframing on this situation is so utterly despicable, and again, telling as to who the Democrats are. And it's not just the politicians, it's their mouthpieces as well, like Kyle Kulinski. Here he is quote tweeting an article from The Hill. The headline reads, Senate Democrats block government funding bill for the 13th time, which is objective fact. And he responds by saying, breaking, Senate Democrats block your healthcare premiums from tripling for the 13th time. Would be a much better headline than this low IQ horseshit. Yeah, the Hill article that's stating an objective fact, that's the low IQ horseshit. Really, it's about the GOP trying to triple your healthcare premiums. First of all, the expiration date on the Obamacare subsidies was signed into law by Democrats to end in 2026, which really makes you think this whole thing was orchestrated before the fact. So Democrats are to blame for that policy expiring during a midterm, by the way. Secondly, we're still 2025. There's all kinds of time to continue those subsidies. It's almost as if the Democrats want to convince their voters that the moment this government shutdown happens, all of a sudden, healthcare premiums are going to multiply by 1 trillion quintillion. That's not what's happening. It's not that urgent. And again, the shutdown has nothing to do with that. They're pushing fear-mongering and panic. Republicans have shown willingness to negotiate that particular issue. You just have to open government to do so. In other words, the only people who are stopping possible legislation to affect those premiums are the Democrats, not Republicans. The only low IQ horseshit here is coming out of Kyle Kulinski's mouth. And again, if your ideas and your policy stances are so supported by the American people, if you're fighting for something that's so righteous, then reopen the government and pass it during sunlight. Anything else would be a ransom payment at this point. And the GOP should not cave, because the strategy here, again, they're desperate for a headline, just so they can say that the shutdown was worth it. You cannot give that to them. That would be the worst type of political enabling, to enable the Democrats to continuously do this stuff every time they don't get what they want. It's nothing but manipulations and lies. And actually, speaking of manipulations, Not just the words coming out of Chuck Schumer's mouth during that little press conference, but also the sign that he's standing next to. They rolled out this little sign next to Schumer that reads, "The president's top priority is the White House ballroom construction," as if President Trump doesn't care about reopening the government, doesn't care about the people. No, he's just focused on the ballroom, and they're saying that based on a quote from Caroline Leavitt. But of course, this quote is misrepresented, taken out of context and edited. You know, like the Democrats always do. Another very fine people hoax. And actually, in this case, it's so utterly dishonest, the framing is so manipulative, that even CNN's own Caitlin Collins fact-checked Jasmine Crockett on the exact issue when she tried to push it on air.
Do you believe this will be the week that Congress comes to an agreement here?
I have no idea. I mean, you started off talking about the fact that the president is in Japan. The president has time to do everything but what he needs to focus on. In fact, we heard the press secretary say that his main priority is the ballroom that no one asked for, the ballroom that requires him to destroy historic pieces of the White House. And so it doesn't seem like he's interested.
And that context of the comment from Caroline Leavitt, she was asked if the president was working on any other renovations when it came to the White House, and she was saying his focus was the ballroom. But to your point about what the president said.
Exactly. The quote was about ongoing renovation work at the White House. President Trump is focused particularly on the ballroom in respect to that. But it's the same dishonest pattern here, right? Cherry pick, crop the quote, and then build this whole bogus narrative. At first it was, oh, he's paying for the ballroom with taxpayer funds. Meanwhile, the government shut down. That was a lie. But obviously that didn't work. And so now it's this. Moving the goalpost. Move to the next dishonest claim. At first it was the $1.5 trillion in spending. Then it was healthcare for illegals. Then it was healthcare premiums. Yep. Then it was, oh, we just want $20 billion. Now it's, oh, we want to give SNAP benefits. But Republicans aren't serious about reopening the government. Just reopen the damn government. No little SNAP carve-out gambits here. You obviously just want to force a vote on that so Republicans can vote against it, and then you could say, look, see, the Republicans are taking away your SNAP. Or if Republicans cave and pass it, you could say, look at what we got. Now we can reopen the government. Stop with the emotional manipulation like this from Bernie Sanders. Holy moly, has Bernie Sanders really sullied himself over the years?
We are here today to send a very loud and a very clear message to President Trump.
This clown.
Obey the law. I know that's a hard concept for the president, but obey the law.
Obey the law.
Do what Congress mandated you do.
Obey the law.
Do not let children in America and their parents and grandchildren go hungry. Do not go down as the first president in history to manufacture a hunger crisis in the richest country on earth. Release these funds. Now, the good news is there are at least 11 Republicans in the Senate who are supporting a bipartisan bill to ensure that no one in America goes without the nutrition assistance they need during the shutdown. And that is very good news, and I thank those 11 Republicans. Every Democrat supports that bill as well.
Don't go down as the first president to manufacture a hunger crisis.
You just can't make
as
it
if
up.
Trump is doing that. No, that is you. Open the government and SNAP funds continue at current spending levels. The only people who are manufacturing hardship are the people who claim that the pain they're causing here is their leverage. Everything with these Democrats is some sort of disgusting play or little slogan, some misrepresentation that they plaster on their frickin' posters. But again, all of it, I think, really tells one story. They are getting desperate. They're trying to do anything to salvage this situation. But honestly, I'm thinking there is no salvation here. I don't think the GOP is going to play their game. Why should they? They're in a position of power. They're on the right side. Democrats are the ones cratering. It's already been, what, 3 weeks? Probably even longer? The damage has already been done. The Democrats made their bed. Now make them sleep in it. Then comes the Democrats, at least the ones with a little bit of integrity, turning against the party, reopening this government, and Schumer's plan falling flat on its face. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.